Okay, let's dive in. Today, we're doing a deep dive, focusing on just one source in a Wakers magazine article titled, What Has Happened to Respect?
Yeah, it's a powerful title.
It really is. And our goal here is to, you know, really pull out the core insights it offers on respect, because it feels like it's becoming, well, the article itself calls it.
An endangered species. That's the phrase it uses right up front. Something so rare it stands out when you see it.
Exactly. And it gives some pretty clear examples, doesn't it? Like less regard for parents, the elderly, police, teachers.
Employers, too. And social media, well, that's a whole other level of rudeness sometimes.
For sure. The article even mentions a Harvard Business Review piece saying disrespectful behavior is indeed on the rise. People are reporting more of it.
And have been for a while now,
Yeah.
apparently. It really sets the stage for why looking at this matters.
Yeah. So what I like about this article is how it breaks it down. It's not just a general complaint.
Right. It looks at respect through 4 specific lenses. Respect for others, for life, for family, and interestingly, for yourself.
Okay, so that's our roadmap for this deep dive. We'll follow that structure. We'll look at why the source says respect is lacking, why it matters in these 4 areas.
And crucially, what the source suggests you can actually do about it,
Mm-hmm.
based on its principles, of course.
Perfect. Ready to tackle the first one? Respect for others?
Let's do it.
All right, so respect for others. Why does the article say this is so important in how we interact? What's the core reasoning?
Well, it gives a couple of key reasons. First, showing respect, it argues, is really effective at calming things down, diffusing tension.
How so?
It quotes that Bible proverb, Proverbs 15.1, a mild answer turns away rage, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Disrespect just escalates things.
Right, it adds fuel to the fire, as the article puts it. That makes total sense. It's not just about being nice, it's practical conflict management.
Exactly. And the second point is that how we speak, respectfully or not, can actually reveal deeper things about us,
Deeper things, like what?
like our core attitudes. The article quotes Jesus from Matthew 12.34, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Ah, okay.
So the article connects this to how we might truly feel about people from different backgrounds, race, nationality, social standing, whatever it might be. Disrespect can leak out underlying prejudice.
So it's an indicator of our inner state, not just a surface-level interaction. If the words are harsh, maybe look inside. Okay. Given that impact, what does the source suggest you can do to show more respect for others?
It offers some really practical advice. One thing is to respect everyone, even if you strongly disagree with their views. Try to find common ground.
Easier said than done sometimes, but important.
It quotes Matthew 7.1 here. Stop judging that you may not be judged. It's a reminder.
That's a powerful reminder. What else?
The golden rule, of course. Treat others how you want to be treated. It quotes Luke 6.31. It's fundamental.
Classic for a reason.
And then forgiveness. Being willing to overlook unkindness sometimes, giving people the benefit of the doubt. There's a quote from Proverbs 19.11.
What does it say?
It says, the inside of a man certainly slows down his anger, and it is beauty on his part to overlook an offense. Calling it beauty to overlook something. That's a strong perspective.
Yeah, beauty, not weakness. That reframes it. And it seems this lack of respect is widely felt. The article mentioned a survey.
It did. A big one. Over 32,000 people in 28 countries. And 65% said the lack of civility now is the worst they've ever seen.
Wow, 65%. That really hits home the endangered species idea.
It does. And the article then gives examples of how its publishers, Jehovah's Witnesses, try to apply these principles.
How so?
Well, promoting respect in their communities, offering Bible instruction freely, but without forcing beliefs, always aiming for a mild temper and deep respect when sharing their message, like 1 Peter 3.15 mentions.
So practicing what they preach, essentially.
That's the aim, rejecting discrimination, trying to show proper respect to everyone, as 1 Peter 2.17 says. It also mentions respecting government authorities, obeying laws, paying taxes, staying politically neutral, but respecting others' political choices. And it points to a video resource on their website, jw.org, called Can Love Conquer Hatred?
Got it. Okay, let's move on from respecting others to the next area. Respect for life. This seems pretty fundamental, but how does the article link it to, community safety?
That's the key connection it makes. Actions that disrespect life aren't just individual issues. They negatively impact the health and safety of the whole community.
Okay, what examples does it use to show that?
Well, obvious ones perhaps, but with wide impact. Cigarette smoking, not just the smoker's health, but cancer risks. Secondhand smoke affecting everyone.
Right.
Mass shootings are another example it brings up. The immense emotional trauma that spreads far beyond the immediate victims, lasting for years.
Yeah, absolutely devastating ripples.
And impaired driving. Just a direct, callous disregard for life, making roads dangerous for completely innocent people.
Those are stark examples of the community impact. So if disrespecting life causes these problems, what does the article say you can do to actively show respect for life?
Several things. First, protecting your own health. Giving up harmful habits, smoking, vaping, overdrinking, recreational drugs. It links this to a Bible verse, 2 Corinthians 7:1, about cleansing ourselves.
So self-care as respect.
Yes, respect for yourself and for others like your family who are affected by your health and choices. It's that ripple effect again.
Okay, makes sense. What else?
Being safety conscious. This was interesting. It uses an old example from Deuteronomy about putting a parapet, like a low wall, on your roof for safety.
How does that apply now?
The principle applies.
Yeah.
Maintain your home safely, drive carefully, keep your car safe, don't give in to pressure to do dangerous things. It's about actively taking steps to prevent harm.
Being proactive about safety. Got it. Any other points on respecting life?
Yes, it circles back to how we treat people. Being kind, avoiding prejudice. The article argues that prejudice and hatred are often the root causes of violence.
So treating people well is respecting life.
Fundamentally. It quotes Ephesians 4.31, 3:2, put away anger, abusive speech, become kind to one another. It connects attitude directly to action and safety.
These themes really do interconnect, and does the article mention how its publishers promote this?
It does. It talks about encouraging healthy lifestyles through their programs, having strict safety standards for their building projects, providing humanitarian aid, mentioning disaster relief efforts and educational campaigns during the Ebola crisis in West Africa, which apparently got some positive notice.
Okay.
And there's another resource mentioned, an article called I Was Digging My Own Grave about overcoming bad habits, also on their website.
All right. That leads us nicely into the third section, respect for family. Why does the article see this as so critical for a stable home?
The main idea is that mutual respect creates this essential feeling of security and value for everyone in the family. Spouses, kids, everybody.
Security and value, how does it illustrate that?
It quotes Dr. John Gottman's book, The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work, emphasizing that respect isn't just about big gestures, but showing fondness in little ways day in and day out.
The everyday stuff matters most, maybe.
Seems to be the point. And it cites research linking kids growing up with respect, learning it, receiving it to things like higher self-esteem, better relationships with parents later on, and fewer psychological issues.
That's a strong case for it. So, practically speaking, what advice does the article give for building that respect in your family?
It suggests being quite deliberate about it.
Yeah.
First, talk together as a family and define what respect actually means to you all.
Okay, get on the same page.
Yeah. Then maybe even write down specific behaviors, what's expected, what's not okay, and discuss it regularly. It quotes Proverbs 21.5 about diligent plans leading to success.
Make it concrete. I like that. What else?
Setting the example is huge. The article pushes for self-reflection. Do you criticize, mock, ignore, interrupt your family?
Oof. Tough questions.
They are. And it offers us a really interesting tip. Think of respect as something you owe your spouse and kids, not something they have to earn first.
Owe them. That's a different way to think about it.
It is. It quotes Romans 12.10. In showing honor to one another, take the lead. You start it.
Take the lead.
Yes.
Okay. What about when families disagree? That happens.
For sure. The advice is basically disagree without being disagreeable. Avoid those really harsh general statements like you always or you never.
Ah, the character attacks.
Exactly. They just escalate things. Which brings us back again to that proverb about a mild answer calming things down while harsh words stir up anger. Proverbs 15.1 again.
That proverb is getting a workout. Does the article mention resources for families from its publishers?
Yes, it highlights their free materials, articles, books, videos designed to help families build mutual respect. It mentions specific series like Help for the Family on things like listening or arguing constructively, and resources for parents on raising kids and teens, covering obedience, chores, manners, communication about rules.
Practical stuff.
Seems so. And it points to an article, I Learned to Respect Women and Myself, as an example of personal change. Again, emphasizing everything on JOW.org is free, no sign-up needed.
Okay, great. Last section, respect for self. This feels a bit different. How does the article link self-respect to resilience?
The argument is that people with self-respect tend to face problems more confidently. They don't give up as easily when things get tough.
Makes sense, like a buffer.
Sort of. And conversely, it cites research connecting low self-respect to higher risks of anxiety, depression, eating disorders, drug and alcohol abuse. So it's really important for overall well-being.
Wow, those are serious connections. How does it contrast high versus low self-respect?
Well, people with higher self-respect, the article says, are less likely to get caught up in comparing themselves to others. This makes it easier to get along and form good friendships.
Less comparison, better relationships. Okay.
Whereas low self-respect can lead to being overly critical, which damages relationships. And crucially for resilience, high self-respect helps you see setbacks as just setbacks, temporary.
Not the end of the world.
Right. But with low self-respect, even small failures can feel like huge roadblocks, leading to giving up much faster.
That really highlights the power of self-perception. So how does the article suggest you can build this self-respect?
One key suggestion is about your friends. Choose friends who are respectful, who genuinely care about you, who build you up.
Surround yourself with good people.
Basically, yeah. It quotes Proverbs 17:1. A true friend shows love at all times and is a brother who is born for times of distress. Supportive relationships boost self-worth.
Makes sense. What else?
Helping others, doing kind things, especially for people who can't necessarily pay you back. The article says this brings a real happiness from giving, which boosts your own sense of value whether you get recognized or not.
That intrinsic reward.
Exactly. It quotes Acts 20:35. There's more happiness in giving than there is in receiving. That feeling reinforces your worth.
Giving back builds you up. I like that. Any other tips?
One specifically for parents. Help your kids develop self-respect. How? By letting them solve their own problems when appropriate.
Don't always jump in and fix it for them.
Right. Let them learn to cope, build those skills. That process itself builds self-respect they'll need as adults. It connects this to Proverbs 22:6 about training a child in the right way.
Empowering them builds their foundation.
Okay. And how do the publishers support this, according to the article?
It points to their meetings and their Bible study program. It says the weekly meetings, which are free and public, include talks that help build self-respect, understand your value, find purpose, and build supportive friendships based on mutual concern, quoting 1 Corinthians 12:25-26.
Community and purpose.
It mentions a video about their meeting places, what happens at a Kingdom Hall, and it describes their free interactive Bible course as helping people find dignity and improve their life. There's a video mentioned for that too, Why Study the Bible.
And it repeats the point about jw.org being free, no fees, no personal info needed. And finally mentions an article, I no longer feel ashamed of myself, related to building self-worth.
Wow. Well, we've certainly taken a deep dive into this article's perspective on respect, or the lack of it today, looking at it through those 4 lenses: others, life, family, and self.
Yeah, and it's clear the article wasn't just about pointing out the problem. It really focused on why respect matters in each area and offered very specific principle-based actions you can take.
Yeah, bringing it right back to you, the listener.
Maybe think about this. The article implies these areas are all connected. So could working on respect in just one area, maybe for yourself or within your family or towards others, or for life itself, actually start a positive cycle? Could it strengthen respect in the other areas too? It's an interesting thought. Which area for you feels like maybe the biggest challenge or maybe the most rewarding place to start applying some of these ideas we've talked about from this source?